I funded this new construction project in Massachusetts, and now the house is complete. Do you want to see how it turned out? Or better yet, do you want to learn how you can get the same type of funding for your next project? Let's break it down. If you're serious about building wealth in real estate, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks on the lending side that you're simply not going to get from a traditional lender.
So a hard money loan is really just a bridge loan. It's really just a bridge loan from a private lender, an unregulated lender. So what are the benefits of hard money loans? Why do investors, first-time flippers, all the way to investors with thousands of units? So I've closed over $1 billion in hard money loans, and I can assure you one thing, not every project qualifies for hard money.
Today, I'm going to be walking you through a real life ground-up construction loan that I funded. I'm going to talk about how I structured the loan, the challenges that came up in the process of getting to a closing, and then ultimately, post-construction, we're going to show you the final result and how successful the project was for both the borrower and myself, the lender. So let's break down the numbers. The seller/homeowner was contributing the land to the partnership, and the builder was bringing in his construction expertise in order to get the project completed. The seller was contributing the land at $350,000. The builder thought the cost of construction was going to be $650,000, which in total means that the total project costs were $1 million. The builder's experience profile over the last 3 years suggests that we could lend up to 90% here at Asset-Based Lending against the total project costs. If you're inexperienced, but have at least one done, we'll lend 85%. But with this borrower's profile, we could go to 90, which meant a $900,000 loan. So how does that loan get funded? Well, lenders always want to control 100% of the construction funds, the money that's going to get the property from value A to B, the after repair value. We're going to put that money into escrow, and we're always going to put, at least here, we're always going to fund 100% of construction into escrow, that $650. That left the $250,000 to be funded at close, which was perfect because it allowed the seller to take some cash off the table in the partnership to cover closing costs. So that's how the numbers broke down in terms of loan to cost. We also have to focus on the after repair value, which in this case, the borrower felt really comfortable that at least the after repair value would be over $1.5 million, which was all we needed to get to our LTV metrics of say around 65%. Very clear challenges that were solved here, right? The seller landowner going into this deal with the builder was never going to take any cash out. They were really just going to contribute the land. The builder was going to build. The builder needed the cash to build because they had other projects going on. And here we were coming into this deal, and we were able to come in and structure a deal where both parties were happy. And I think that the unique thing that hard money brings into this is that we're overlooking a lot of challenges that a project like this has that a traditional lender simply can't. A deal with a traditional lender that's partially built hasn't been formed in terms of its actual partnership between seller and borrower builder. I think 9 out of 10 traditional lenders walk away immediately and say, sorry, it's not going to be a fit. Hard money lenders like myself aren't going to do that. We're just going to dig right in. You find that we're looking to come up with solutions. We're not looking to find issues with projects that leave them dead on arrival. So yeah, that's how we got it structured and ultimately how it got funded. And those construction dollars that we're putting into escrow, that $650,000, is going to be funded through a normal construction draw process, or maybe not normal, quite honestly, because we do virtual construction draws, which make it faster and cost less. So at the end of the day, lots of challenges solved using hard money and structuring a deal like this appropriately for both the seller and the builder, and everybody came out happy in the end on the overall execution. So the project was a single family new build, a spec new construction project where the builder was coming to me looking for 100% financing on the construction costs to take it through, partner with an existing homeowner, build out the house, and eventually sell it for $1.7 million, $1.8 million. The structure of the deal was a little unique in the fact that the borrower had already had a handshake deal with the homeowner/landowner to come in, build this house, because the homeowner understood that if they could get a new house built on that lot, it was going to sell for far more, and that they were leaving money on the table had they just sold it in as-is condition. So the builder was effectively partnering with the homeowner, the landowner, to build this house, struck a handshake deal to contribute his construction expertise and to build the house at his cost. And the seller and the slash homeowner contributed the land. The land was being contributed at a $350,000 valuation, which was really below the as-is value. And the builder was coming in and saying, it's going to cost me about $650,000 to build a new colonial that, when completed, would sell for $1,700,000, $1,800,000. The issue is that the builder had already come in and knocked the existing house down and had started framing out the new house, had done so really without permission from the city or the town, but that was a whole nother thing. The fact of the matter is the handshake deal that they struck really didn't work great for the transaction. And what they were finding is that banks and traditional lenders just couldn't get their arms around the transaction to be able to close it. And really the only option was for hard money. And so what I was able to do was to step in, understand the value of the property on an as-is basis, take into consideration the amount of work that had started to go in, and structure a loan that gave the borrower 100% of the construction costs to complete and gave the seller slash homeowner some cash out to be able to effectively provide them with liquidity, almost as if they had sold it. But in fact, all they had done was contribute the land and the house into a partnership with the builder, which, when structured appropriately, gave them a loan together, both of which they were guarantors on for the completion of the house, which we funded. And hard money was the best execution because we were able to close the loan in 2 weeks, but we were able to see past the fact that there was a handshake deal. We could see past that it was just partially complete and that there was work to be done and that when completed, it was going to be worth whatever it was going to be worth. And we closed. And I'm going to break down how I was able to structure the loan to make that happen and to cover ultimately all of the construction costs and get that borrower to a point where he completed the house and ultimately ended up making way more money than he ever thought he did. So let's get into the loan structuring and how it was funded. So what were the results? We ended up getting an appraised value on the property of $1,800,000. So project costs in total, $1 million. Appraised value came in at $1,800,000, and ultimately the property ended up selling for $1,770,000. So when you think about it, right, the seller originally was going to just sell off the property maybe for $400,000. Maybe they get a little bit more because there was a house on it, but ultimately it was an infill, small house. It didn't fit the neighborhood. It was going to get knocked down. The homeowner was smart enough to realize that they, in partnership with a builder, could unlock all this additional upside. And it was the builder's experience that they needed and a loan from us to be able to make that happen. And so they came in, they ended up getting $900,000 of the $1 million in total project costs funded by asset-based lending. They built it out. I think they took 5 construction draws to do it at $175 a piece and then sold it for $1,770,000. And I mean, throw $70,000 out for cost to sell and closing costs and you name it. And there was $700,000 plus or minus an upside. So at the end of the day, the seller unlocked all of this potential equity that they wouldn't have been able to unlock using a loan from us to fund a ground up construction. The builder was able to get a deal done and make a ton of money with very little, no skin in the game. And that's a very important factor. So one of the key takeaways here is that this whole transaction ended up coming out with 100% financing and everybody was happy. And it's the thoughtfulness through the process to make sure that the loan is structured correctly for everybody that ends up taking a little bit more time, but when done correctly, it sets the project up for success. And obviously this was a successful project where everyone made out better for having done the deal than if they didn't. If you're looking to get funding for your next new construction project, let's talk. I'm structuring deals day in and day out. I do modular construction. I've done luxury builds. I've done 10 build blanket loans. You name it, I've seen it, and ABL probably has a product for it if you're building residential. I'd love to win your business. If you enjoy this content, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. It definitely helps. If you have any questions about new construction lending, please leave a comment. I'll be glad to respond and try to help. And again, I'd love to thank my sponsor, Asset-Based Lending, for sponsoring this video. And I look forward to the next one.